Dr. Dennis Hughes, a renowned pediatric cancer doctor from Texas, is facing federal child pornography charges after a thumb drive belonging to Mr. Hughes was seized by police and found to contain over more than 8,000 illegal images of children. MD Anderson Cancer Center, where he was working, has said it's a devastating piece of news to share with our patients and their families. Obviously, Margaret, he's not working there anymore. I want to go back to 2002. Dr. Hughes was arrested by Washita County deputies for indecent exposure. He went to trial. He was eventually found not guilty. We never heard from him again. But now something else happens, and it's kind of like, oh, wait, maybe we should have known that something fishy was going on, because it clearly was. And this isn't the first time that something like this has come out. You know, obviously, we're talking about Dr. Dennis Hughes.
We're talking about a pediatric oncologist who's supposed to treat very sick children. It turns out he's the one who's really sick. What a monster, using the alternative internet to download these images of young, you know, minor children, small children having sex with adults. They knew what was happening at the University of Michigan. Somebody had to have known. He goes to Houston, the record's wiped, you know, it's like it never happened. I understand it. He went to court, was found not guilty by a jury in Michigan. That should have come up on a background check when, you know, Houston was looking at him to hire him.
It should.
His colleagues, they were like 11 years with him, not a single incident, not a single disciplinary action. Something I found particularly disgusting about this man, he insisted on doing the hands-on routine physical exams of children, which was uncommon. Other physicians said that normally a dermatology unit or dermatologist would do it. He wanted to do it himself. His attorney said, you know what, he just wanted the extra money. I'm not buying it. 8,200 images of child porn downloaded from the dark web on your home computer. Ew.
Ew. Yeah, and you mentioned the dark web, where essentially your IP address is blocked. It's not easy to do. You have to know what you're doing. You have to have experience in this kind of thing. You have to know well enough that people are watching out for that, and you have to do it under the radar. So the man knew clearly what he was getting himself into. He was clearly really into it. So that I kind of feel weird when I hear that prosecutors are saying he's a very, very intelligent man, but one whose problems make him a threat to children, and then they go on to set his bail, his bond at just $50,000 and say, well, if we don't have any actual evidence of contact, he'll just probably be released. Because him blocking his IP addresses and systematically going on there and following all the steps to be a successful pedophile and having 8,000 images of children on a hard drive isn't enough. He should be able to continue. And then shame on schools like Michigan who kind of hide these things because they want to look out for their own reputation. And we see that all the time, but that's nothing new, but still sad.
I mean, who gives a shit that he was a very smart man? Yes, you can have a PhD from Yale like he did. Yes, you can have a medical degree from Yale like he did and still be a pedophile / child pornographer. I mean, why would that be indicative of the man's character? I found it so remarkably interesting that he said anger was his trigger. He was telling his priest this, that apparently a sick person like this has a trigger that makes them do what they do, and his was anger. I really can't wrap my brain around that. But he knew that he had a problem. Not only did he try to conceal it, but worked for 11 years around children. That hospital has to go to every parent that man ever touched and talk to them and disclose this if they don't already know.
I know, and look, we talked about the court kind of coming out and saying, well, we need proof that there was some physical molestation going on. But that's really a hard thing to conclude when your job essentially is to check children. You can't do it without touching them. So unfortunately, it might come out that, you know, well, we don't have any proof. On your way, sir. Hopefully that's not the case. I mean, look, I understand he had mental problems. He was dealing with anger, like Margaret said, but still, ultimately, we want to know at home if you guys believe that someone like that should be working with children, let alone hands-on inspecting them and doing what pediatricians do. We want to know what you guys have to say, so comment below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Lip TV 2 for more.